I want to give you a little background. I was not a believer. This was not on my agenda. Matter of fact, I had rejected. I was an atheist. And one day, my friend had a spontaneous out-of-body experience. And now, of course, we know that that's quite common. Spontaneous experiences are way more common than self-initiated because they're natural. And he come to me the next day and explained to me his life-changing experience. And he was blown away by it, totally transformed him. I knew this guy for 20 years. I wanted to have the experience he had. This is back in 73, just to put it. And I did a little research. And even back in 73, there was literature and books available on how to self-initiate an out-of-body experience. So I studied this book, and I found that there was techniques, and they're relatively easy. And I began doing the techniques. This one technique, which I call the target technique, that I teach today. It's very simple. It's all I did is every night as I fell asleep, I would imagine 3 objects in my mother's house. 3 silly things that only a mother could love that I had made. Little things in shop and pictures of fish, etc. They were my targets, 3 targets in my mother's home. I was in a dorm at the time. And every night, I would imagine that I'm moving to those targets, examining them, touching them. In other words, I am focusing my conscious awareness beyond my body solely until I drift to sleep. And it didn't take 15, 20 minutes. I did this, and the book made it clear that it takes dedication. It takes daily practice. And that's what I did. I was determined. And believe me, after about 2 weeks, you're wondering, oh my God, this is just hooey. It's not real. Keep in mind, I'm not a believer. I know nothing about this topic. I'm clueless. But I kept it up. I was determined. And on the 24th day, doing this simple little target technique, I awoken and I was in a single bed and I was facing the wall on my side, on my left side. And I woke up highly energized, for lack of a better word. I felt different. I was lighter, more vibrant. Some of you have already experienced this. And as I reached out my arm went into the physical wall that was in front of me. My hand went into the wall. And that's the first real clue I had that, oh my God, I did it. I did it. I thought of standing, and the next thing I knew, I was standing by the foot of my bed, looking down on this lump on the bed. And I was in shock. There's no other word for it. Total shock. Because I was trying to basically disprove it. And then I look around and I'm trying to get, again, I'm excited. So you have to stay calm. I was doing my best just to stay calm. And as I looked around my little room, it's almost like I began to see beyond the perimeter of the walls. And I noticed that there was a man in a robe and a dark beard watching me. And I'll be quite honest with you, it scared me. It was unexpected. And I instantly snapped back into my body. The last thing I expected was to see someone else. And it was, I tell you, it's strange things like that can happen. Anyway, here I am. I'm back in my body. I'm feeling vibrations flowing through me. I'm numb. It takes me about a minute to adapt. And then it's like my entire paradigm, everything shifted at that single moment. I became what some people call a knower instead of just a believer. Suddenly, I went from being an atheist to an absolute knowledge. Not only do I continue and I can function outside of my body, but that other people live there also or dwell there. And that I could self-initiate this experience. It was mind-blowing. It was paradigm shifting, to put it mildly. And it was beyond excitement. I remember, I still have the notes of the time I wrote all the notes. Everything I had learned in college seemed like null and void. It's like I'm studying sociology and it's like, who cares? I felt like scream into the world. There's other dimensions here, people. We can explore them. We can get there. We can do it ourselves. We don't have to be believers. Of course, I found out in the 70s, if you did that, you found out real quick. The first statement was, "What are you smoking?" And stuff like that. And people did not find that kind of experience, especially in the 70s. It's so new, so fresh. It wasn't widely accepted. The term out-of-body experience may have not even been coined by that, to put it in a reference point. So at that point, I became just an avid explorer of this topic. I began to take it seriously because I knew it was real. I began to have a lot of experiences. I learned that there was many techniques. I started to learn about metaphysics. And I certainly started to learn about multidimensional reality because I was experiencing that. I learned that there was many, many things. And keep in mind, this is 45 years ago. After opening this, and 25 years ago, I started teaching it all over the place. My first book was released. And I began traveling the world. Luckily, my book was released and did well, and it was in 8 languages. Raymond Moody endorsed the cover, which was nice of him. And I got to travel the world telling people the potential of this, the possibility of it. So the question is, and I already had this question at the conference, why? Why is that important to you, though? Answers. If you want to actually know, go beyond belief, if you want personal verification, this is one way to achieve it, and much more. I know many of you are here at the conference to get insights or contact with your loved ones. It's only natural. We have the ability to do that ourselves. My mother has contacted me, my deceased mother has contacted me, or I have contacted her a dozen times over the past 20 years. It's face to face. What's amazing is when I see her, she's no longer the 75-year-old overweight woman. She's a beautiful woman in her, say, 25, 26 years old, just in her prime, which is often because I've found, as others have found, when we make the transition that we call death, our self-concept will mold our energy body. That's why this is so common. There's no communication blockages. Because we communicate by thought directly to one another. I spent 4 years in China, and I've had experiences with Chinese people that are dead, and we can communicate perfectly. There's no language problems, or let's just say challenges. So why do people pursue this? I consider out-of-body experiences to be a spiritual path. I know it's not everyone does. I know that's not the case, but that's how I teach it. The purpose is for you to have your own profound experience. I try to give everyone an opportunity to have their own profound experience. I don't frame it for them. I don't tell them what it means. Each individual has to come to their own determination. That's our philosophy, basically, if there is one. I do not frame someone else's experience with any kind of religious or intellectual overtones. The point here that we can be empowered to obtain the answers for ourselves. And this is so important in this day and age because we live in a society and a culture overwhelmed with information, aren't we? 50,000 books published every year. The internet's exploded. Tons and tons of information on social media. There's no shortage of information. What's needed is personal verification and expansion of your own level of experience. Because how will you ever know something unless you experience it? I use the analogy that I could read 1,000 books about being a woman in this plane. But one incarnation as a woman, I might start to get it. 1,000 books wouldn't give it to me. Experience is why we're here. Experience and the expansion of our ability to have experience is critical to our evolutionary cycle because we're all here for a purpose. Think about it for a moment. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet. 7.5 billion people. We're all on this unified kind of similar journey of consciousness through this biological body. We're on this journey that lasts 80 to 90 years. And the vast majority of these 7 billion people have no idea what the destination point is. Think of it. You wouldn't go a day without planning your meals. You wouldn't go anywhere without having a plan of action. But yet we're ready to settle for this lack of knowledge about our journey of life. It's unacceptable because the answers are available if we are willing to take the necessary steps to become explorers of consciousness and not believers in consciousness. If you look at the founding fathers of any mystical group and organization, you'll find that they were experiencers. They were having profound, they weren't limited, they weren't special. Everyone has the ability to have their own profound experiences, but we have to open for it. We've been, and I'll be blunt about it, from birth, we have been deceived and lied to about many things, about what we are and who we are and where we're going. We've been told that the brain is the origin of consciousness, a lie. Near-death experiences and OBEs prove it's a lie, but yet they continue to spout that, don't they? There's many parts of our culture that are based on this idea that we are bodies. From the moment you're born, you're conditioned, you're programmed to believe that you're your biological body. I realize that that's essential for socialization. Absolutely. But it's not true. We are so much more than that. We are hardwired to our multidimensional self. And that's why this is so important. So why are OBEs important to you? This is just a small list. Personal answers, of course. Verification and confirmation of your own immortality. Expansion of consciousness, because you begin to explore your multidimensional self.